do, 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 do. It should be working. You never do know with this shit. Yeah. It seems to be, doesn't it? You never do know. Yeah, that's good. Right. No, because the interface is fucking shit. This is all interfaces now. I think we know about this. I hate Top Cat. That sure sucked. Balls. And asses. Not nice asses. Ugly, hairy ones that didn't wipe. Fucking... What are we doing here anyway? Oh yeah. We're on the 286, it's what I got hooked up, and also, you know, this lets me test out my fancy new video bastardizer that I've built. Because most people would have like video converters and, you know, flashy fucking things. I just have a bastardizer that I've built, which isn't very good. Yeah, but anyway, you know, it doesn't matter, because I mean, like, it does stuff, you know. This machine has EGA in it right now. It was originally supposed to be EGA, this 286, but the card got lost in the warehouse. It was a little Genoa one. You know, so that's the VGA card it usually uses. It's not in it right now. They have a CGA card as well. We'll have to do a stream with that, so maybe we'll play Larry on that. I don't know. Some other time. I don't even know if this is going to work. Like, you know, expect things to just suddenly fucking break. And if they do, I'm not going to be sat here trying to fix them. Like, I will just quit the stream. So, you know. But it doesn't matter. It's just a test stream. But yeah, this is actually an EGA card. We're looking at output from EGA here. This is a bit dodgy. But, yeah, it doesn't matter so much in this machine, because the things it was supposed to, you know, you're pretty much limited to EGA shit anyway on this system. Like I say, it was meant to be an EGA system. So if I can get this reliably, maybe we'll just leave it on EGA, but not on this. This card doesn't work right. I've bodged it to life just enough that I could use it for testing, but it has some major problems. It doesn't even have its original BIOS. EGA power might disappear for a couple of moments. We are feeding it through the China converter to keep really OBS happy. So it might... Yeah, it will. Okay. Yeah, I don't think you can see shit right now. Oh, there we go. I think you can see it now. Conversion's a little bit ugly though, isn't it? Let's be honest. See, I don't know what's going to happen, because I've never run this bastardizer for a very long time. It might blow up. The capture card might fail again. You know. As I said, if something breaks, I'm not going to sit up all night trying to mend it. I'll just accept that it's broken. Yeah, I am. I'll just accept that it's broken, and I will quit and go and work on my book or something. We got red intensity fixed though. We can at least see where the red's dark and where it's light a bit now. It still has no trim pots on it, because I don't have any. So those are a thing I'm going to have to add eventually. And I expect it to jitter and kick the vertical sync out every now and then. It's sort of not really like VGA. Yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's a little bit clunky, but it does what it does. You know, I didn't actually build it to play games on. I built it really just for things like, you know, laptops where they might only have CGA or EGA on them, and if the screen stops working, it makes it really hard to diagnose the problem. Is the thing fucking dead? Is it just the screen? You know, if the screen's not working, is it a problem with the video chip? If it is, a lost cause. If it's not, then maybe I've just lost a backlight or a ribbon. And now I don't have to work in the dark because I can just hook the bastardizer up, press the external screen button, and get a picture. So even if I just got one fucking few flashing frames, like, as long as I had enough to see what was going on and see if the machine was starting up and doing its thing, it would have been good enough. The monochrome conversion's about limited to that. Maybe I'll demonstrate it someday. But you see, when it kicks the V-Sync out, it basically just does that all the time if I try and convert monochrome with it. And I don't know if there's much I can do about that. The composite conversion is a little bit better for monochrome, but a lot of my screens don't like it. And weirdly, only one of the composite sockets on the little Trinitron can do it, although it's not the first time I've had that, because I think it was my SNES only works on that one as well. So it seems one of them will only take, like, really conformal PAL signals for some reason, which, I cunt. You have to press the ever-living hell out of them to make them work. But you can kind of do it. It's one of those weird single knob interfaces. So I assume, as it's a very small knob, I can only assume it's a female monitor, and that I'm just fondling its clit every time I play with that. So I try not to adjust it more than I have to. I shouldn't have to adjust anything in OBS, because if I put this through the China converter, it sort of does it for me, you know. It's... And plus, I suppose if we are going to blow something up, now it's going to be the China converter rather than my nice Jeff N scaler or something. But I'd rather not kill. I don't mind killing like a $5 Chinese fucking scaler, which is supposed to be able to convert EJ anyway, but it doesn't even have the pins for it. You know that fucking sync kick is going to happen when I need it most. There is also a quirk with the colour here, and I don't know if anyone's going to notice it, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. Like, other than the colour's been kind of oversaturated and bleeding, there is actually something else going on. So we'll see if anyone notices it. Now, MDA is not PAL, but that's what I mean. The input that it doesn't work on only seems to accept, like, really conformal PAL sources. Like, I can plug a VCR into it or something, but or like a PlayStation 2, but I can't plug, like, you know, the SNES or like the Mega Drive or anything in. It just flickers or just goes black, and you can hear this sweeping noise coming out of the CRT. I definitely do need trim pots on this thing, because the difference between dark and light red, especially when it has the grey lines next to it, isn't very good. The red circuit, one of the diodes in it, is particularly leaky for some reason, but the stereo they came out, there was two stereos that I'd picked off the side of the road, and they were both, like, you know, on fire at some point, which is presumably why they were on the side of the road, and I took the diodes out of the bit that had been on fire, so it's kind of probably asking a fair bit for them to work really well, you know. It's just one of them things, isn't it? you pick up trash, expect trash. I'm in the money. I've got the money. You don't, 'cause you're shit, and I'm the fucking best. Yeah, well, one of them's slightly black, but it's actually the one on the blue circuits that is black. I think that's the one that's for the secondary intensity. So it's a very bad circuit. It's not good. I really wholeheartedly would recommend against using something like this. Like if you care about the hardware that you're going to be plugging it into. But yeah, it's... If you ever read up on like how, you know, Zener diodes work, when they use them for like voltage regulation, usually on like interfaces, in principle it's kind of what we're doing here. But the voltage that's been referenced isn't particularly stable because it really just relies on resistors, so it's it tends to drift a bit. You'll notice when there's a lot of different colours, like, you know, at the moment there's a lot of grey and shit, then there's a lot of black, and you'll probably see as we move away from all the black into more grey, the shade of everything kind of changes, because there's only so much fucking leakage here and too much leakage there, and it makes the levels drift a little bit. But like I said, it wasn't really meant to go this far, so you know, I don't care. It more than serves the function it was built to serve. We want to go down that lower floor there, don't we? I always get mixed up here. Still, I mean, nothing's blown up yet. Probably going to die in a minute, but it don't matter. Game has a live system. You know, it's that's not blown up. The capture card still seems to be working. I'm assuming all the noises and shit are still coming out as they're supposed to. The blade. Well, guess what is, it bleeds when I move. You get this weird ghosting. And I can only assume that's the diode's been too slow. Like, I think if I used faster diodes, it might work better, but I don't have any. Oh, there we go. Fucking hell! Admittedly, there's a part of me that does take pride in just building things with, like, trash, like rather than actually buying components that are any good. Just been like, oh, this is the garbage, just make it with... Well, I don't have resistors of that value, so we'll just find the nearest ones we can find, maybe we can run some in parallel, and then, like, put this one in series with it, and, well, it gets us within, like, 100 ohms of what we need. It's close enough, right? I mean, if it was for something really mission critical, obviously I wouldn't cut corners like that, but it's for equipment like this, it doesn't matter. I thought there was a Duke 3D port on, like, at least one of them. I still wouldn't have any major interest in them, because for the same reason I don't like OEM, like, PCs, like, I can't tolerate the bullshit, it pisses me off. You know, something breaks in the machine, like, say, the hard drive wears out, because the hard drives fucking wear out. Yeah, I mean, look at the yellow here is, like, really dull. I wonder if we'll be able to see anything more pronounced. Like, looking into... I think the China converter sort of compensates for that a little bit, from what you'll see. But it's... It's the same sort of thing, you know, it's like, oh, it's not a fucking standard thing. Like, this is annoying, now it's going to cost me a lot of money for a problem that would have been really easy to solve. No! Do we attack it? I'm going to attack it. I guess that's marked as an area for enemies. I wonder what the level format's actually like for this game. Fucking hell! So this is where the game gets harder. I swear I start getting lost. I forget my way around. So one of those is a door, isn't it? Fuckers. I swear one of these is a door. Or am I misremembering? I think I'm misremembering. Oh no, it's this one. This takes us to the pit, doesn't it? Because you get the teleport wand in here. Yeah, well, I don't know. I think I hate the wasps more, but that's probably because the wasps are all over rather than just in this one area. You know, at least the flibbits are only in here. It's me, Mario. Are those mushrooms or Karibos? I've never been able to let my mind upon that. Fuck off. That I think is testament, you know, it's a clunky old DOS game, like, from the end of the 80s, before, like, PCs had properly established themselves as something you could play, like, you know, console quality games on. Well, I still have the wand. I guess there's no point in me going that way now, is there? I don't think there's anything else to collect in this area. See, I'm rusty. So yeah, I think we can just leave and fuck it off. But jumping mechanics in this game really aren't too bad. Like, you know, when you do that bit with the logs sticking up. Oh, not meant to be logs, it's meant to be like stalactite fucking mites and tights. It's a testament to the fact that it's actually not too bad mechanically, this game, given its age. I might get a game over today. I haven't actually played this in a while. So, colours are definitely a bit skewy. I'm going to roll smoke. But yeah, I hate the wasps more, I think, just because they're in more areas. Gold. Oh no. Yeah, I think you're right though. I'll roll the smoke and then I better go back and check, hadn't I? Yeah, nothing seems to be getting that hot. The diodes get a bit thirsty. I don't know if they're rated for the sort of like power that's going through them, to be honest, but I mean they seem to work. It's actually really warm over here. I might turn this shitty little fan on. Let me know if the noise gets annoying and I'll turn it off. Because I don't know if it's like rattling up the wire. So if all you can hear is like I'll switch it off. But yeah, nothing's... Well, what, 20 minutes in? Nothing's broken yet? That's a good sign. And then that should continue. We can jump back over it now. Oh, I was hoping he would despawn. That'll do him. I have the teleport wand now, I mean that's got to count for something, right? Yeah, fuck off. fuck off. Fucking hell. They did, but for some reason it is Heath branded. Unfortunately, it's running AST BIOS, which I don't think is entirely compatible because the BIOS that came with it wasn't working, and so I just had to dig for one that would. And its card is faulty anyway, I think. So I'll get another one at some point. So they do show up cheap occasionally. So, you know, if we wait around, somebody might just put one on for like fucking 20 quid or something. I think the CGA card was barely more than a tenner after postage. Because it was in unknown operational state. Of course, this EGA one was sold as working, so that's the one that doesn't work. You know, I have this policy against buying shit that works, because it doesn't work. I bet it was that other door, wasn't it? Uh-oh. Why can I not teleport? This is a problem. So what about the fucking Hornets? A lot of the time they're basically unavoidable. I don't think that's the way we want to go. I think we're going to end up getting a game over. Don't suppose it matters that much, but fuck off. Fucking hell. Along with the cannon music in Pilot Wings, it's easily one of those defining sounds of frustration in gaming. It sounds like somebody who's had enough, you know. Maybe it was it. Can't be fucking... All this and it would have been this fucking door at the start, won't it? Because I'm sure you can get to the pit with the gold. Oh, come on! My gamepad's going faulty, you know. Oh, shit. It certainly is the case. I think my gamepad's gone dodgy. There's no recalibrate in the middle of the game, so it's definitely gone dodgy. Well, if I do get a game over, do I restart this game or do I go on to Duke 1, I suppose is the question, because there's a fair chance we're going to wind up dead, especially with the teleportation stuff, because unfortunately the game turns off the keyboard when it's in joystick mode, so I can't just use the fucking keyboard to try and finish the game. And of course it could be having the EGA card in messing it up, because the machine doesn't like it. It has problems with it. It doesn't work right. And it can't quite figure out what it is. Like a lot of the time it's, oh, this is a monochrome card, or this is a CGA card. I don't know what what to do about this. Howdy there, Sigil. Yeah, there's yellows look washed out for some reason more than anything else. There's probably issues with like colour combining somewhere. Whatever, what, green and red? It's better than no picture at all, you know? It's, oh, no. Might have just crashed. The crash till the keyboard's been shitty again. Because I know this keyboard doesn't work right either, so you know we're in a fucking winning combination. Yeah, that broke. Let's restart the system. We'll give Captain Comic one more go, and then we'll move on to Duke Nukem 1. Ah, maybe we didn't crash. Maybe it was the keyboard. Like, can you not, please? It's annoying. It does have an unusually short connector, which doesn't help. Yeah, not necessarily on this card. It does that. I mean, look at the top of the screen up there. You know, it's actually quite normal to see that on this EGA card. It does not work very well. It's actually quite random whether games will start. Are you going to make me have to plug a different keyboard in? I don't want to. Let's try that again. I'll just use a different keyboard if it doesn't work this time. I have to look in there because I think it's just a loose wire. Like, I don't think anything's actually broken. I just think there's a wire that's a bit busted up on the inside of the keyboard. Start, you piece of crap! Yeah, definitely have to get another EGA card someday. I can't right now, I'm poor at the moment. But, well, I'm always poor, but I'm a bit more poor than, like, you know, I can just go and buy another EGA card. But it'll sort itself out, and then I'll buy one when one comes up at a decent price. I can't for the life of me figure out why they cost as much as VGA cards. Because surely nobody is fucking using them. I don't know of anybody else playing with EGA. Well, I know there are people who do, but very few of them. Let's try the joystick again. Yeah, it's the IBM crowd, like, play with them a bit. I mean, those people are weird. I don't have any... My keyboard just went out again, the lights just flashed on it. I don't have a problem with those people. I have a problem with their machines, but, I mean, it's their machine. They can run whatever they like. You know, as long as they accept my clone is going to come and kick the ever-living shit out of it, but most of them do, so it's just not a problem, you know. Like, you know, I won't bash on people for being into OEM boxes. I'll make fun of them a little bit. It's fine. I don't mean anything by it, you know. I'm sure they'd probably make fun of me. Especially when I have problems with keyboards and crash the fucking computer and have a BIOS that doesn't implement a lot of really important shit. Even with a working EGA card, this thing's a tad dodgy. Even with the VGA card, it's a tad dodgy because the system BIOS it's missing things. I don't think they've figured out how to copy everything yet. You know, it does seem like it's just an XT BIOS that they've kind of stitched together just enough that it'll run a 286 with an EGA card in it. But, I mean, EGA would have been brand new when this machine was new, so I mean, cut them some slack, you know. It's some fucking backstreet in fucking Taiwan. It's still working. And it's a pretty old piece of shit now. But I've said before that the problem is when it breaks and you don't really have much documentation. When weird things happen on say an IBM, it's not too bad because there's this huge following for them, and so people out there have took the time to we've compiled all the official documentation, and also we've got like nearly 40 years of user documentation where people have found out that, well, when this really obscure thing happens, right, what you want to do is you put that jumper in that position, even though it makes no sense to do that, and then you can like change this setting and it'll work. And you don't have that when you're on something like this. You just can't know anybody else who owns this exact thing. And now I kind of don't know what to do with it. They just have to poke at things in the dark and hope it does what I want it to do. Which is fun, but then sometimes it's a little bit like, this is irritating now because I've spent hours on it. Hang on. Yeah, the EGA scroller engine would be interesting. I started reading a little bit of shit about C again. It's hurting my head. I understand it right now. And all the documentation I've found is really just theory shit. It doesn't really give me any examples or tell me what things do. So but we'll get there. You know, it's separating it from con in my head, because when I look at code examples now, or like source code, because I said before, like, con knocked C out of my head, I think, and so like the siren goes off like this will stop fucking, it won't work. Monster party. I think the whole forest and castle thing showed up a lot in games back then for some reason. It just seemed to be a staple game thing. The VGA thing, I'm sure it was something they planned. I'm sure I read that somewhere. Well, I could talk shit about the Tandy, but I mean, I don't own a Tandy. I had a friend who owned a TRS, like, Trash 80, you know. I used to make fun of him. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm a while from attempting to write anything yet, and I'll start out with simple things, a bit of file manipulation, and, you know, a bit of perk this about, perk that about. I'll just work my way up slowly. The eventual goal is to write something like this, like a side stepper rather than a scroller, so, you know, I'm not interested in scrolling. Yeah, DOS documentation is not very widespread. Although I figure if I could, if I get stuck, you know, and just figure out how to do it, like, like the hard way. The contrast really isn't that great on this, is it? It still hasn't blown up, so I mean, we have that going for us. I mean, the diodes might melt at some point, because I do think they're under spec for what we're making them do. Yeah, I can make it. Here. No, Nigel, don't die! You know, there probably is Nigel, isn't it? He seems like a Nigel, this Captain Comic. I mean, that can't be his name. That can't be what it says on his birth certificate. Captain Comic. I just don't see that being the case. And again, I mean, people think my name is like I'm writing gibberish, and that's when I write in block capitals. So maybe it is, you know, I don't know what time period this is set in. Captain Comic, there might be really popular names, like, in whatever time period this is. You know, it might be like the year 4000 or something. But does it say at the start? No, I'm just being totally ignorant. Weird moon cactuses. Wouldn't that be cacti? I mean, who cares? Like, if his name's Captain Comic, I can say cactuses. But yeah, I also don't really plan on dabbling with assembly. I don't want to hurt my head that much. You fucker. I don't want to hurt my head that much. If I ever mess with assembly again, it will be like Z80 or some shit, rather than X86. So, as a result, I would imagine if I ever do write a sidestepper engine, it's going to be grossly inefficient. Then again, I don't know what this game was probably written in fucking Pascal or something. Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, how bad could it be, right? Ah, the worst. I've got some money. You haven't got any. Didn't we just establish I didn't have any left? Well, I got more than that blue ball does. These fucking blue balls, the bastard. I don't know where that phrase comes from, because it actually doesn't make much sense when you think about it. Like, blue balls. Like, they don't turn blue if you don't use them for a long time. Like, they kind of swell up a bit, and you start having really deviant thoughts about things. That's about it. You have deviant thoughts about television commercials that don't even have people in them, and you start thinking, oh, maybe I should just rub one out. Why am I having flashbacks to Crichton's double Polaroid over the vacuum cleaner section? Yeah, I think there's at least similarities between, like, the Z80 and the 8080 anyway, wasn't there? Or something. I can't see myself ever touching it ever again. But... oh, come on, I was on the ledge. He stalled there, man. There's no way this game actually detects, like, collision at, like, less than the 8 pixel intervals or whatever they are. I think it was 8 pixels. Maybe it's more, maybe it's... I can't see it being more than 8 pixels per block. Surely not. Well, per step. But are the steps every half block? It almost feels like they are, but... I'll catch up with that in a second. Everybody's dead, Dave. Oh yeah, the keyboard. There we go. Yeah, it ran Ultra Force a long time ago. It doesn't run very well. Well, you get through it, but as far as running that demo goes, it probably better to just pick a faster machine. It seems to start picking up at about 12 megahertz, that demo. Do you know, Fathers is still pretty impressive that you can do things like that on a 286, because you don't usually see that sort of thing on one. It's run really old shit like Space Pigs and Rex. Actually, isn't Space Pigs an EGA demo? Try to run that, because the scrolling doesn't work properly on a lot of VGA cards. So you should probably try and run that sometime. Maybe I'll do that at the end of the stream and see if it functions properly on this card. I don't think it runs in VGA, but Rex does. And Rex, I think, was the first demo that anyone knows of to use VGA. I think Space Pigs was made before VGA even existed, but I might be remembering completely wrong. It really isn't a very impressive demo or anything like the Space Pigs one in the grand scheme of things. Like, there's no polygons or anything. It's just a fucking couple of text scrollers that hurt your eyes. Like I said, the way it scrolls is a bit weird, and it doesn't work on a lot of cards, so now I am curious. Whether it's like particularly visually appealing or not, it is kind of neat just to see the early beginnings of that scene, like on PC. And most people were still on the Amiga, like in the demo scene. See, this fucking love the Amiga. I wonder if it has the same problem as DOS nowadays, the Amiga, whether a lot of the scene are sitting there on emulators and saying, you know, it's everybody's fault but theirs when their code doesn't run on like a real fucking system. Because we sure as shit have that problem in DOS. Like, we did for a while. Maybe that's cleared up now. It might have done, because you've had loads of fucking retro tech YouTubers coming. Didn't go into caves. Yeah, I would imagine sidestepping is simpler than scrolling. I don't fully understand the intricacies of it yet, but I'm sure I'll get there. Usually if I put my mind to something, I can get it done. At least when it's something logical. If it's something stupid, like cooking, then I can't do it. But if it's like, you know, something like that, then machinery, I can generally get it to comply. I mean, when I used code before, my code looked like shit, so I don't imagine it'll be any different this time around. Or anyone else would see it and have a heart attack and be like, what the fuck is this even supposed to do? And I just kind of shrug, like, I don't know, I can't remember. I just kind of kept bastarding at it until it did what I wanted, and I don't actually really know why it does that. That bit does how I didn't mean for that, it just kind of happened. And as for cooking, that fucking baffles me, because I can't do that, but I can bake. Baking I'm brilliant at, but cooking everything just bombs. But baking, I started to realise that I sort of thought of it more like chemistry. You know, in my head, the way that I process that information is more like how I used to think in fucking science class when I was doing, like, fucking chemistry. So it's like, well, maybe this is why. You know, when I try to bake cakes, I can do it really well. But when I try to, like, cook pasta, it doesn't work so great. I thought I got robbed of my extra life then, but I think I just stopped the sound from playing. Damn monsters. Well, that's the thing. I can fry things. If I put things in a fucking frying pan, they turn out fine. Like say eggs, right? If I want to boil an egg, it'll either come out liquid or it'll explode, and I can't get the bit in the middle where the egg's actually just sort of gone solid inside and it's now a boiled egg. It's either a raw egg that's like warm, and that's no good, because when I eat raw eggs I prefer them out of the fucking refrigerator, or else it's an egg that's stuck to my fucking ceiling, and the things are a bastard to get off the ceiling, like the shit that's in there just fucking doesn't want to come off. Meanwhile, if I throw the egg in a fucking frying pan, it's no problem. Throw some cheese in there, and you probably got bits of like mildly burnt bacon stuck to the pan already, because I never clean frying pans. I don't believe in cleaning them, because they get so hot they just self-clean, and the pan's seasoned now. It adds flavour. Oh, the joist pad's fixed itself. The game pad has fixed itself. Maybe we just needed to shout at it. Oh, fuck. You see, that's why the teleport is like anti-spam. Well, people tell me that, but I don't know. It's just not meant to be, and I don't care, because I don't really eat that much cooked food. And to be honest, if I have the choice between boiling an egg and fucking frying it, it's blasphemous as a fucking British person, because in Britain, like, the way we do food is, oh, there's too much flavour in this, we'd better boil all of that out. You just boil everything into oblivion until it doesn't taste like anything. Whereas I don't. I just go, fucking, you can fry this, right? Well, I don't know, but we'll try anyway. It's probably alright, and it's better. So, given the choice, I'll just fry the fucking thing. It's going to taste way better than boiling it. And as I said, I can, like, lob a load of fucking cheese in there. You know, maybe get some bacon on the go. More bacon always equals better. Like, there are very few things that you can't put bacon with and have it work. In fact, if it's not working, just keep adding bacon and cheese, and it eventually, like, and maybe a bit of salt, eventually it will work. Like, it's one of the magic things. And I mean, if you're going to put it in a sandwich, then you throw when you're done frying it, you put the bread in the pan as well, and the bread goes all sort of greasy, but it's kind of like crisp as well. And you don't waste the flavour then, because all the flavour of what you just fried goes in the bread. I'm sure I might think different about this when I'm, like, on the stroke ward in a few years, but I mean, Is that just eat boring food? So that's a shame. You're missing out. We'll probably get banned here with the amount of Muslim influence that everything seems to have on it now. Eventually they'll be like, oh no, you can't have that, it offends like these people. I don't think they'd have the balls. I think there'd be uproar if they tried to stop people eating bacon. Having said that, I always thought there'd be uproar if they shut the fucking pubs, and there really hasn't been. There's just been a load of, like, complaining and not a lot of people doing shit, so... Actually, they have full lives. I don't give a fuck about the pubs outgoing them, but... Bacon, I think I'd give a fuck. I'd get very angry if they stopped me eating that. Like, I would have to strangle somebody. Oh, shit! That was my fault. I haven't actually fried anything in a while. Like, I need to make danger dogs again. I love making danger dogs. Those things are fucking brilliant. You can feel them clogging your damn arteries. They're something I wouldn't eat more than once a week. But they taste so good. But you see, this is another thing where, like, I sort of get weird looks, because in this country, hot dogs come in, like, brine. And so when you get hot dogs, like, they're in a tin of brine, and you don't grill them or fry them or anything. What you do is you put them in a pan in the fucking brine, and fucking just sort of gently heat them. You know, all the bricks in the game used to be that size, like the ones on the castle at the start in earlier revisions. So the scaling kind of isn't weird in the original context of them. I think they used to be white in here, though, instead of grey. The colour's certainly weird, like when you look at the outline, it gets darker in the middle of the screen. And a bit more reddish. Oh, fuck off. But yeah, people kind of, as a result of that, they look at me a bit odd. It's like, you are frying a hot dog. It's like, yes. It tastes better when it's covered in fucking frying fucking oil. Especially when it's like old frying oil, you know, that was just moments ago a solid white mass in the bottom of the pan with bits in it of everything else that's ever been in that pan. But yeah, grilling or frying them is pretty much unheard of here, whereas, as far as I understand, it's far more common in other countries to grill or fry the damn things. Oh, I was hoping I could cut corners. I think it's a combination of many things, the colours on the outlines, to be honest. You get a lot of red bleeding in. The red circuit on this, like I say, it's a particularly leaky diode, one of the ones on the red. And so it does some odd things, and I think maybe other colours leak onto the red line a little bit. Also, I think that diode might be slightly slow. They are fire damage diodes, like, you know. Let's not pretend otherwise. But it's still working, and actually the sink kick, I haven't seen it come in a while. It's actually cleared up. Well, maybe these things will get a bit better with more use. Probably not, but it has so far, so maybe it will. Have to jump. So many shields. Given how the caves are just like constant death, it does make you think Michael Denny tested this game a bit. Yeah, that colour shifting's back again. The brightness drift is nowhere near as bad as it was. You know, I was on about how the colours start drifting worse depending on what sort of stuff's on screen. It isn't as bad as it was since I changed like the one puny fucking resistor to some parallel ones. Because, you know, resistors, it's a fucking division, you know. Like, you put two resistors in parallel and you get like half that say they're both the same, you just effectively get half the value. But now you've doubled the wattage that they can take. Because each one will only take half of the load now. Well, they're off to the castle, I suppose. Now I'm pretty confident we'll probably beat the game. You watch me just lose every life to like the starting area or something. I really should try to memorise the layout of the castle. Like, I don't think it's possible to beat the game without the teleport wand, but I'm curious how far you could get. Could you get to the last room just short of where you need the teleport wand? What do we need the gold for, anyway? Like, do we actually need that? Because I'm not sure we do. Like, I always collect it, but I'm starting to think we don't actually need it. Colour shift, you see, the colour shift isn't really too bad on this screen. And I think that's because there's a lot of black. Like, it doesn't happen as much, but now we have these really bright greens on the trees, and it sort of comes back for a while. Like, as the trees are up, but when they're not, the stars go white again, so it's... I think it is just voltages, like, leakage happening. Oh, so I didn't build this, like, converter bastardizer to play games. Well, the story says that, but I mean, is it really? Like, did the programmer bother to do this, or did he just take it on good faith that people would be like, oh, there's gold, I want to get it? Because, I mean, that's... As someone who plays a game, you just sort of automatically see a collectible item and you want to pick it up, whether you need it or not. It's mine, I'm having it. Ah, fucking hell. Damn it. Oh, fucking hell. I'm going up here. I like to be on top. I perform better when I'm on top. You know, it's just the way things are. It's just that feeling of, like, you know, power. Being able to dominate over the anyway. I'm sure there was a way we could teleport here. I'm sure I did it last time to get up there. Or did I try and find it? It doesn't matter. I mean, it's... We're on, like, the second to last area with all but one life. If we fuck it up now and get a game over, I'm obviously just really shit at the game. Or I've got really terrible luck. It's all the monies. I don't care, hit me, just keep on hitting me. So I mean, as long as I get to that door, it basically doesn't fucking matter, because we can just barn a life per room and still have lives to spare at this stage. Oh no, shield, well, we don't even have that problem. It's actually a bit of a more tricky jump, isn't it, that? You probably teleported there, to be honest. Now, as long as you keep walking, the Hornet won't come down. I don't think he will. He will when we stop. Ah, shit. Daddle that. That could be bad. I thought it was the last route. Oh, I don't need to teleport one to get to the crown. So I guess in theory, if I memorised the castle, maybe you could just get there without the teleport one. Without any of the treasures, I mean, you just need the key. Really should play the second one sometime, shouldn't we? Game over. Yeah, that is a problem with the EGA card, evidently. It doesn't work good. It doesn't work right. It's why I'm ignoring some of the issues with the Bastardizer, because I'm pretty certain they're the card. Like, even if I force it into CGA emulation modes, it still has problems, and it's kind of random where it works on the CGA card, so I don't think it works, but there's something wrong with it. I'll be back in a moment, hang on. Yeah, it probably is. There are issues with the signal, though. The levels are a bit off and shit. So I just don't think it works right to begin with. There is one thing I do find weird is the jacks. They are composite, right? I'm going to try and run that Space Pigs demo. They are composite, but they don't output composite. As such, like, they will on the IBM EGA card, but they will only do it with the daughter card on. Which means... where is this thing? Fuck, where has that gone? Yeah, it only does it if there's this daughter card on. And this can't fucking do it. Like, it doesn't have the things for the daughter card, so there's no way. I can't find that fucking demo. There is no way, like, that you could ever get the stupid fucking... like, how would you ever get the... Not them. I cannot find that. The demo is missing. It used to be there. With nowhere to put that daughter card, I just don't see how you would be able to... Let's have a look. Let me have a quick dig in old hard drives here. There we go. And now I have to copy it to the VM. Which is over there. Fuck it, we'll play Duke Nukem 1 first, because otherwise I have to mess about. And Duke Nukem 1's a pain in the arse, it doesn't always work, so we might just, like, end up with a green screen here. Yeah, that's... It doesn't make too much of a difference. Like, it'll just start in that mode. Oh, the game started first time. It's more reliable if I use the card in Lisa, and it will give me the modes I've actually selected on the back of the card. The card still has different issues. So I'll get another one someday, one that actually works right, and then we can maybe sort of try something else with it. I don't give a fuck too much with this stream, it's just for testing. Response to the gamepad before you even set it up. What gets me is the thing there, the little star sparkle, makes me think that menus in this were planned to respond to the, like, game controllers at one time. To be honest, I'd like another CGA card as well, if I could find a bigger one cheap, because this is a late one, like... It was made of, like, what, 88, 89, something like. Yeah, 88, but mine's made in 89. I'd like one of the full-length ones, if I could find one. Because I quite like full-length cards. But yeah, also I've had a hard time reverse engineering the mode switches on this card, because... Most EGA cards, they're laid out just like the IBM EGA card. On this one, they're their own way, so I've had to sort of guess them, and that maybe doesn't help. In the upper left, in the bottom right, and press a button. Well, button 1 is actually button 2. So that, to me, should be jump, I guess, because they're labelled backwards. The pitiful hero they sent to stop me. So now we have some scaling issues. I can hardly hear that. Turn it up. Duke Nukem 1, I suspect, uses compression. Runs fucking fantastic. But hey, we're actually at 6 megahertz with word states this time, so like... So this motherboard does not like its ISA bus running too fast, like even just a little bit too fast, and it starts shitting the bed like massively. I guess it's not like these 486 boards where it's only 10 megahertz, that won't do any problems. Yeah, no, it's like, oh, it's only 8 megahertz, that won't cause any problem. Yeah, you must be joking. That's slightly over the 7.16 megahertz or whatever it's supposed to be. You can't do that. It's not going to like that. It's going to run bad now. Hey, you know I said this game had the hand-holding hints? You can actually turn them off. Yeah, it wasn't always too uncommon to see for like smaller builders to do that. Even in the 2000s you could buy like shareware CDs, like 500 games plus, and it was mostly just DOS games. Well, yeah, he probably just hadn't updated his selection in a long time. No, I want to shoot it. I don't care if I have to get the spikes. It's not like there's a lack of power-ups in these early levels, is it? You'll probably get this game to run a little bit faster, actually. But I think if we like tamper with the game speed, because it does have options for it, but I think if we tamper with it, it'll sort of make it worse. Like, it'll make the stalling noticeable, and the controls will probably lag a little bit. Because they're not perfect as it is. Also, as it is 4 AM now, I don't know if I'm going to complete this in this stream. And as everything seems to be working, I'll probably be on the Atari next time. So I mean, we might as well. Like, there's no point me doing it today, because I'm still waiting on, like, Desert Falcon getting here at the very least. But I mean, Atari's not very interesting. I think we'll only stream with that once, just to say we've done it. Like. I mean, that's when I was on about, you know, owning something and knowing it's shit, but you kind of like it anyway. The Atari 7800's certainly one of those things where I'm pretty certain I would fucking hate it if it wasn't my first console. Yeah, I've tested that, and unfortunately it doesn't work with composite. Like, it must have knocked the RF box out of whack. Because it does grade the screen and crash the Atari still, but you don't get the fart noises anymore. Luckily my composite mod is fully reversible, so maybe one day we'll put it back on RF just to see what it does. It'd be pretty easy to temporarily reconnect the RF box. Although it'll look even worse, because I'm going to introduce all the colour bleeding and shit. Because I don't like being able to see the pixels. And the colours look crap, and I kind of wonder if it's technically right anyway, because like, I don't know, I just want to change it because that's how I always remember it being. But at the same time, I wonder, like, well, did the people develop the games use RF? Because if they did, then that's probably what they were supposed to look like. They would have selected the colours based on that. Yeah, it doesn't always crash. It depends on the game that you're playing and where you are in it. But now it just turns the picture black and white, and that's about it. Maybe in some games it'll do more interesting things. I do find it odd how on that controller the Atari position is in the same place as Commodore 64, and as far as I'm aware they're not interchangeable. Either that or I've never encountered a Commodore 64 that's working properly, because, you know, I always thought like, oh shit, I could plug an Atari controller into that, right? And people told me I can, but it's not worked on any Commodore 64 I've ever fucking encountered. Plug Atari pads in and the system crashes, usually. And I never tested it with the Certac, so... Atari consoles are fucking horrible. Like, the VCS doesn't even have a fucking frame buffer on it, so... They're shit. Like, the hardware in them shite. It really is. I think probably one of the only reasons it did well is it was probably cheaper, and the controllers only had one button. And Atari really can't make controllers. It doesn't matter what they've fucking done. Like, they even managed to fuck up, like... Where is that piece of crap? That... No, you see, I got a Sega controller plugged into it. That's how much I like the Atari controller. Oh, where is the bastard thing? Well, there's the Certac that makes it fart. Which I've mostly fixed. It's very badly made. I should have taken pictures of its internal organs. Where is that fucking shit show of the controller? Maybe I fucking burnt it. I don't know. I wouldn't have done that. It's my childhood console. I don't want to destroy it, but... Well, anyway, the controllers are fucking horrible. They have these stupid plastic sticks that screw in, so you think, oh, well, I can just fucking unscrew that. But then it hurts your thumb even worse, so you can't win. You just got to decide, what kind of pain do I feel like having to the... And then you kind of get wise and you think, fuck this, maybe I just plug like a Master System pad or something in. These fucking things. These aren't made for human hands. Like, it's these little fucking raised and recessed pieces. It's like, no, it doesn't work. They don't feel like rubber domes or anything under there either, so... It's Atari, they're probably using those little metal sort of thimble things. Oh, what was the save button again? There is a button to quick save, isn't there? I'm sure there is. Well, I can't find it. But then, you know, I give the Atari stick... The fucking NES has horrible controllers. I don't know how people play on those for any length of time. And plus the fact a lot of the games are backwards, where the buttons are the opposite way around to what you would think they would be. Mario games have that problem. At least they fixed that on the SNES. They sort of swapped them around, so like the buttons were a more logical way around. You know, run is where you would think jump would be, and jump is where you would think run would be. The few games that use, like, two buttons on the 7800 kind of have that same problem, where they're typically in this weird way around, where resting your thumb across a button is no good, because you're going to constantly, like, be triggering the secondary function, because it's the button farthest under your thumb. But in the case of the NES controller, it's just painfully small for me. I don't like it. Like, it's kind of pathetic, really, that in all the time they've been around, I think Nintendo's only made one decent controller, and that's the one that's on the fucking SNES. Because all the rest of them have been fucking shite for one reason or another. You know, the NES controller's a piece of shit. It's horrible. And then the fucking N64 controller's a piece of shit. It's horrible and they break. And the GameCube controller's weird. And the Wii controller's just a bastard to fucking use. And I don't know about anything later than that. And then their handhelds aren't made for fucking people either. Sega always knew how to make a working controller that didn't fuck your hand. Jaguar controllers very close to being the most comfortable. The D-pad could be better quality, but yeah, Atari got that right, like the basic shape of it and everything, it feels right in your hand. Saturn analog controller I think is the most comfortable one I've held of any controller, but I've yet to find one that works, and they cost too much for me to just keep buying them in the hopes that, you know. So I don't think I ever will find one that works, not now. I think the last time I went looking for them, they were like 60 fucking quid. Fuck that. Like, you know, I only have one game on the system that I can use it with, and it's not even very good, so. I love my Sega Saturn as a system, but Jesus Christ, the library is awful. But yeah, as far as Atari controllers go, the Jaguar one, it's a shame that it took them right until the end to actually figure it out. Oh man, this is grotty. Yeah, it is, but the control stick's better. Because it's bigger. Like, you... And it's... I don't know that it actually is concave, but it feels concave. And to be honest, that's a thing I do not understand about thumbsticks in general, is why so many of them are bloody convex. Like, why do they dome upwards instead of dome downwards? Like, D-pads don't do that. D-pads dome downwards towards the middle. Like, this one, it has this curve where it's lower in the middle. And it makes fucking sense. Like, even, like, the fucking, like, NES controller, like, I think has a... No, that one's flat. That's one of the reasons it's cracked, because it has sharp edges. SNES one angles down towards the middle, though. Like, it's concave. And the Saturn... like, analog stick at least feels concave. If it isn't, it's flat with rings in it. And it feels alright under your thumb, and it's nice and big. Sega always had big stuff, like big buttons and big sticks. The Dreamcast stick is a bit fucking small. Like, I quite like the Dreamcast controller. It's certainly more than usable, but the stick really lets it down because it's just a bit too small and sharp on the edges. But on the PS1 I want to find another one because I had a knockoff controller for that years ago, and I could probably find another one. I've not looked that hard. And the sticks on that were concave, and it was way fucking better, and it was to a point where I can play games better with that controller than the regular Sony one. And it just seems weird to me. Like, who designs these things? And why does the fucking sticks always dome upwards instead of downwards? You know, when your thumb's meant to rest there, you'd think it would make more sense to have your thumb go into it, rather than have this dome where it just slips off it all the time. It's rather odd. This level has keys in it that are missing, doesn't it? Ah, son of a bitch. So yeah, it might be a regional thing, because I have one of the early ones, like before they even had vibration in. And they're dumb upwards. So maybe it was only for like a very short time. But that's probably what my knockoff controller was copying then. Well, it was way better. It makes so much more sense. It's obviously something that could be gotten right early on, so I don't know if it's just cheaper to make them the other way or something, but it's a bit shit. Like, it's weird how for buttons it's the opposite. I actually kind of like the buttons to upwards, but it depends on the size of them. If you make the buttons bigger, then it's actually better to have them done inwards. Like on the Jaguar and the Mega Drive, they have really big buttons, and so if those ones domed up, it wouldn't feel right. They're domed down, it works better there. And to me, that's actually perfectly fine either way, to be honest, I think. Realistically, I would prefer the buttons to dome inwards as well, just purely because I would prefer if the buttons were larger on everything. Like, I have big thumbs, and so to me, big buttons is good. Like, and so big fucking thumbsticks and big fucking buttons that are concave would be so much better. It's weird how that design, it's not around anymore. GameCube, what always got me was the C-stick. And the weird buttons that are, like, banana-shaped is the best way I can describe them. Like those carved buttons that are next to the action buttons, you know, it's... I don't remember what the lettering was on them now, but... Weird design choice. Well, I could handle that controller, but... So, I mean, I was decent at fucking Mario Kart Double Dash. That game was fun. I don't usually like Mario Kart that much, but that one was fun. Especially if you had a second player. Plus, I like the fucked up the race music with the whistling. It's one of those songs that hear in my head when I fuck things up sometimes. Ow! I know the silver key, I'm sure, is on the left, but... It is! Oh, well, I guess we're done with this level. Guess we're going to the bottom now. This level's a bit sadistic in its design. I don't know. See, I've never really had anything to do with the GameCube Zelda games. Zelda's one of them things I typically tried to avoid, because, you know, obviously my bad experiences with the SNES one, because I didn't know I had a fucking bootleg all them years. So I'm like, fuck Zelda, it's horrible, I want nothing to do with it. And of course it turned out to be the fault of some pirates in the past. Bastards. Good. There we go. I think at this point it is safe to say things are working, at least. We've been streaming about an hour and a half and nothing's died on us yet, so... Yeah, capture cards have probably unfucked themselves, at least for the time being. So I guess now I don't mind putting the hours in to work on a video, because it's not going to likely bust at the last minute. Oh, this is cruel, game. I'll just take the hits. You have infinite lives in this game. I mean, you'd have to kill it again if we die, but it's the point, you know, it's... really is no big penalty for dying in this game. Oh yeah, it's definitely working. I still want to improve it, you know, with tweaked pots and maybe some quicker Zener diodes than what it's on, but... I'm sure I took damage and should have died though. No, I'll let the flames go away first. I don't know why, but in my head the flames were longer. I still find that pattern up there weird. I do almost wonder if there's something hidden in there. Like, I almost wonder if it's, No, he didn't work on this game, because it almost looked vaguely like SUYT, show us your tits, which is like how Level Lord used to sign his maps. I don't think it worked on this, so I don't know why that would be in there. So you're still trying, Duke? Never mind, my robot drones will soon be the end of you. Poor Proton, all he wanted to do was take over the fucking world. We're going to ruin all his fun. Well, I mean, it serves him right, really. He didn't, like, you know... post it in the fucking... Yeah, it is, but that's because we're actually at 6 fucking megahertz this time instead of that weird... I still can't really figure out what XTIDE was doing to the machine, because the clock it was running at isn't available on the motherboard. And, like, you know, measuring the performance, like, it's about right for that clock. So I don't know where it was getting that from. I don't know what it was doing. I'm sure it's down to just a shit implementation of the BIOS on this rather than XTIDE. Like, I fully believe XTIDE is probably implemented really well. Like, and whoever maintains it does seem to try and work around issues like these, and so... You know, they clearly have done what they can to make it work, and so I always want to be clear I'm not bashing on it, because I don't feel, you know, they did put effort into it, clearly. But I think it's probably just the way the BIOS is implemented on this machine isn't very good. But yeah, now we're actually at 6 megahertz, so it's quite a drop from, like, the 10 that we were running at. FPU in this machine is limited to running at 4. Like, it really is, like... This is as slow as I would want to go on a PC. It really is. Like, I have no desire to play with XTs. I just can't think of anything I would do with them. like there's some 80s games I'd want to play again, you know, like Larry and stuff. I will get to it eventually. There's always shit getting in the way. Well, yeah, exactly. This BIOS is old and shitty enough that it's missing a lot of functionality, or it's not implemented properly. It's there. You want slowdown. The clone makers hadn't quite figured out how to do these things yet, apparently. And so it's always a bit of a gamble. But man, I like clones. Clones are awesome, and this machine I do like just purely for the early clone thing. That this is where they were starting to get the hang of it a little bit. They were figuring out how to make it cheap and still make it work. Hadn't quite found the balance quite enough yet, and I think maybe the cheapness that they were going for sort of made it a bit worse than maybe it needed to be, but... It's a toughie, this level. Like, I don't remember the layout. That is... amazing performance. Oh yeah, I forgot he'd stop if it was off screen. I mean, it is basically like at the bottom of the system requirements. But yeah, you know, even 80 shit like Larry, I wouldn't want to go slower than this, like, with it. Like, I'm pretty certain it works on an XT Larry one, but... I would not want to fucking do that. There's only so much of this I can take. Oh, bastard. Of course, as soon as I forego a fucking soda can... I love how they teleport down. Like in some games they get stuck in mid-air, like in Commander Keen. In Duke Nukem 1 they just teleport to the floor. Sticky, sticky, sticky. I own that fucking thing now because the power supply broke. And so the guitarist wanker fucking decided that I basically had to pay him and I now own the fucking thing, so it's now my fucking mostly terrible 32 liquid-ass synthesizer, and the screen's dodgy on it anyway, so I'd already had to pay him for that. And you know what he's done? He's gone and bought another one, so yeah. Why I don't like borrowing things. Well, that's not that good. That's the businessman chicken. Well, that's turkey, isn't it? Turkey's way better than chicken anyway, man. Yeah, so we will have MT32 noises when I play on Larry. It's now mine. It still works if you feed MIDI into it, at least about as much as it ever did, so... Well, so I guess me is he just bought another one. It's like, dude, you know, there's way better shit out there. You're just using it for like accompaniment when you're playing a fucking guitar. What the hell is wrong with you? they're really popular with guitarists, I've noticed, for some reason. The people who play guitar love using them for it. It's probably because they're not very ballsy sounding, so it probably doesn't distract them from, like, playing the fucking guitar. You know, I suppose if you had, like, say you had, like, the Korg 01, and you used that for, like, accompaniment when you were playing the guitar, you probably just wouldn't be able to hear your guitar very well, because it's quite an obnoxious sounding synthesizer. You know, it always tries to come to the front a little bit more. MT32s don't. Even the 01 doesn't as much as some synths. Prophet's really fucking obnoxious. That thing just shoves right through the fucking mix, like straight to the fucking front. So yeah, fuck everything else that's here. Like, you're gonna hear Prophet 5s, and you're only gonna hear Prophet 5s now. Especially if you put it in unison mode. It's just like, oh yeah, it's just have all 5 like oscillators like at the same fucking time. I'm not complaining about, like, you know, making a synthesizer even louder than it already would be. It suits me perfectly. Oh, I thought that bullet would sail over my head. Yamaha AWM2, I don't know. I'm really not sure. Like, the rack mount ones used to be cheap, but I doubt that's the case anymore. And then it's whether you want, like, MU128 sounds onwards, or do you want, like, the older MU80 type sounds? Personally, I find the later ones, some of the sounds are a bit thin on them. Like, the guitar sounds especially really got pussified in, like, the later sound set. But if you're not going to use the electric guitars, like, then it doesn't matter any. Yeah, this is the kill yourself shortcut. Oh, the frame rate. Oh no! Ow! Yeah, I'm gonna be glad to see the back of this level. And Korg's like the one with AI2, like the Ur1. I don't know if any of the Ur1s are cheap now. That was weird. The Ur1R used to be cheap because no one wanted it. They all wanted the Ur1W, so... But I don't know if that's the case now. Wow, the noise! So I can get the elevator there the next fucking week. Like, just hang on, we're working on it. Yeah, emulators, they're always desktop modules. They've probably gone up in price by now. I would like check for an MU90R. Because I don't know if the prices are still the same, but no one ever really talks about the MU90R, so it makes me wonder if maybe because nobody talks about them, maybe nobody gives a fuck about those so much. Because, I mean, it's 100% compatible with the MU80, so... You know, anything that's written for the more common 80 will work one-to-one on the 90. But it has some extra shit, you know, if you want to write your own stuff with it. You'll want to find a copy of the books for it, because there's like 2 main books. And you especially need the one that has all the SysX implementation and shit to really use the thing, like, to its fullest extent. And it looks more complicated than it is, believe me. Like, once you've written a few SysX messages out, you don't really have to look in the book so much. Because you just kind of get used to what value refers to what, like, which byte is referring to what thing. And then you can usually just figure them out off the top of your head to some extent. Like, I forget them when I don't use the thing for a while, and I come back and it's like, oh, learning curve. And after about 10 minutes, it's like, ah, this piss, it's easy. I'll save the game. Not sure if I press 1 or 2 though, we'll just do it again just to make sure. This is to get some of my very early MU recordings a while ago. It's not very good. It's when I was still writing like 90s dance music sounding shit. Oh, this is the level from the... Oh, right, no it isn't. Don't remember the room order. I don't suppose it matters very much. Well, some of these are utterly fucking pointless. Shit! This is going to be good. Yes, the points. Don't get anything for them. Yeah, well, I got cards I can loan to it. I'll just stick the SCC one in there because it doesn't need a driver, and we'll just use the MIDI out on that. You know, I'll borrow it from my Pentium 2 for the day or whatever. It's not like the MIDI in... No, it's not. Only Larry 1 supports it, does it? I thought it was just PC speaker. I don't know if Larry 2 would run so good on here. Well, I can try. Like, I almost feel like it's sort of the VGA version of the fast one that... I might be remembering wrong. But yeah, we can stick an SCC1 in here. I doubt it'd tank the CPU particularly hard. You know, it's not like those midis are particularly elaborate things in that game. I'm not saying they're shit or anything, I'm just saying they're not like the most fucking elaborate midis on the planet. I like the music in the Larry games. Ah, crap! Yeah, it was a close one. No, you can't kill those until they actually fall down. Well, it's never going to hit me now, because it... Excuse me, game. I wanted that open. There we go. Oh, this is that room. Can I do this room yet? I think I can. Yeah, it's just an SC55 on an ISO card. I don't like the bloody thing, but it sticks around because I'm in... Oh, jeez, I forgot those buttons. Now I've got to run away because I'm in... It's... That will lag the machine out bad if I stand there now. I keep it around because it's just compatibility's sake. Things are written to work on it, so there's no reason to not have it. Plus the fact it's insurance, so you probably sell it for quite a lot of money because they have the box and everything still. So it's like, well, we might as well just like hang on to it, and then if we ever really, really need money to pay the fucking rent, we can sell it. I definitely prefer the sound of the fucking Terratech Maestro. Like, it's like the sound canvas if it didn't sound totally fucking toilet. Like, really good car though. Such a pleasant surprise, that thing, you know. It's like, this thing is so overblown, there's no way it can ever work properly. And it's definitely not something I would part with. I mean, I think those, like, cost more than they really should now. But no, I don't want to get rid of that. Where's my fucking key? Have I missed something here? Maybe it was in the top one. Because I won't go in here because I was like, oh no, I need, like, this is where the exit is, but I'll probably misremember. Fucking hell. In spite of your persistence, my plan to rule Earth will not be stopped. Well, I guess we'll see about that. There's a bit of delay though. I guess the game just wanted to make sure, like, that I was aware... Fuck. That I was aware that it had, like, given me, like, health. Ah, shit! Stop! It's hurting me now. That massive fall is telling me I probably want to go in the top one. I think, didn't we leave one of them atomic healths here? There we go. Stupid square-edged belts. Right. And now it won't kill us. Yeah, just set all the rockets off. I mean, that's not going to knacker up the performance or anything, right? People probably played the game like this, Yeah. Well, I mean, everything got to fucking start somewhere. I never really touched graphics, like, when I used to dabble with code before. I just... My thing was always, well, you know, I don't need those, because most of the shit I wrote was just, if I needed a task doing, you know, I would write the shit to do said task. Very utilitarian. You know, it was usually a lot of the time no user interface. I remember having a thing to, like, prod settings on some fucking peripheral or other, and it was just run out of the task schedule. I think it was a... I know I had, like, an improved control for the FTV box when I was, like, scheduling recordings out of that. Like, I'd written a tool that made it a lot fucking better than having to cobble shit together. Like, send it, like, at the serial port. So yeah, I had no fucking user interface as such. It was just barf fucking commands or read them in from a file. Well, everything's got to start somewhere. I don't think I'm going to have time to finish this game tonight. So I ain't got too long left or I'm going to have to go to sleep. Third time, come on! Oh yeah, we get the hands in this level, the claws. Well, in all fairness to the Mercury effect, it doesn't really slow the game down any. If you want to make a reflective floor like that in a modern game, it'd tank the frame rate like hell. I mean, it reflects areas off the screen as well, like you get just black void, but it's nice to know that anything that you can't see doesn't exist in Duke Nukem's reality. It's like a thing I've always wondered, what's behind you in a dream? Like, at any given moment when you're having a dream, what's behind you in the dream? Like, what's actually there? Like, does anything behind you actually exist within the dream? Well, as soon as you turn your back on it, does it just cease to be? There's the claw. That wasn't hard to get to. I don't even know if we need to mess with anything else, really. Down here. Ow! Nasty little robots. Well, I don't know, it's... maybe they've come back, but there seemed to be a patch, like going into the 2000s, where you just didn't see reflective shit in games anymore. And I personally found that, like, quite shit, because it was like, well, we had mirrors and stuff, like... you just didn't really see them so much past the point. And this is finicky. Probably no good reason to go up there, but... as we can do it, we might as well do it, right? Let's just have it, we're probably not coming back in here. How does this work then? Well, certainly not that way. I don't think we can go up there. It looks... no, it's not too high. I can totally go up there. Oh, that was evil. Whoever put that there is a dickhead. Beating up on the 286. It's always fun to beat upon it. I don't feel bad for making computers work hard, you know. It's like, it's what they're designed to do. Like, it's supposed to fucking work this hard. Like, that's its fucking job. Like, it's not gonna break it. It's not bad for it. Oh, that's all fucking dynamite. Yeah, it's not in the fucking DOS version though, as far as I remember. And nothing can really unugly the Quake engine. Even in its modern implementations, you can always tell that at its heart, it's that fucking clumsy looking piece of shit fucking game engine. But it's hardly a surprise, because when you actually stop and think about it, like, most of its games weren't really that good to look at. Like, on average, they were usually pretty ugly. I can't hang on to that for some reason. That's one of the reasons, like, Keen 6 stands out to me, because it's certainly one of the least ugly games they did. There's this scope to the graphics that you just don't see otherwise. And I still kind of like my theory. I'm still kind of stuck on it, like the meats thing, where I have to wonder. Like, it would actually make sense to me if it was, you know, they just fucking took what they had for that and just turned it into Keen 6. Oof, I'll be back in a second. Yeah, it it would make sense to me, because, you know, the art style alone, like the doorways and shit, they have that weird sort of forced perspective that was... I'd love to know what that style's called. There was a load of it in the early 90s, and I always kind of liked it. But the only other Keen game that has that is Keen Dreams. And then there's the metal tile set, where there's this one unused tile in Dreams that looks like a sort of precursor to it. There's sort of a vaguely food-themed thing going on in 6. And Meets the Meats is obviously going to be food-themed, because I mean, Dreams was. So I don't know, like, I can't fucking back up my theory whatsoever, but yeah, I kind of have this weird suspicion. It might be something to do with why the, well, you could use the word wacky to describe it, but I don't think that's what that style's called. I always just thought it was a variant of pop art of some kind. Like it was a sort of pop art without the dithering and shit. I don't know. But yeah, it's, honestly, I would buy that if they, you know, the old id fucking people come out and they're like, hey, yeah, it totally was like Meets the Meats at one time. We weren't very far in development with it, but we just took what we had of that. hates heroes. Probably hates that hedgehog as well. I mean, the enemy roster wouldn't make too much sense, really, in a way, but, I mean, at the same time, does it not make sense? I mean, the Gloogs have those sort of hard legs on them and shit. You know, what if they started out as some sort of chicken-themed enemy? What if the stupendous sandwich and was something else at one time? Or if the Grabite is one of the only surviving, like, assets, like... Thing is, Keen 6 came out pretty much the same time as 4. Like, it really is like the red-headed stepchild of the series. It's definitely older than 5, and I would definitely buy that it's older than 4. Because it has quirks that aren't there in 4. Like I said, the key stacking thing really gets me, that is such an oddity. It makes you think, like, you know, that's probably a leftover from the way keys worked in Dreams. Like, the engine and the game logic in all of the Galaxy Engine games clearly evolved out of Keen Dreams. So it's weird how just one of them would have that bug. Howdy, Junkyard W. It's not been too bad, you know, had hardware issues, so we're just testing to see if they're, like, still there. I think Keen 6 even has a broken ending, like, screen sequence. In at least one of the versions, like the arrow has the wrong colour behind it. That little flashing arrow in the bottom of the screen. Oh, I have the purple key. I'm looking for the purple. Is that all I need to exit the stage? Or did I need another one? Because I remember an area at the top, but I've got a feeling that's episode 3 or something I'm remembering. Well, I've got to kill that. Ah! Yeah, I can just leave. There you go. Well, I'd figured that out already, game. I definitely can't keep this up much longer. We'll see how close we can get to the end. Like, how many levels in are we? I don't think we have that far left to go. Don't we get something for making it over here without bringing that out? I don't remember. Well, it's not like it's going to make the level unfucking winnable, so... I don't remember where the letters are, so I ain't going to bother trying to fucking hunt them all down. Yeah, it's a bit of a bitch, this level. I like it. Like, it makes sense that you would have a level be a bit of a bitch, because, I mean, we're not exactly near the start of the game. I don't know how far we have left to go, but... Oh, no, them bastards! Cruelty. Player cruelty, that's what that is. Being cruel to the player. Oh, fuck off. I totally touched that. I was touching that more than I touched your fucking sister. Like, how could you not fucking realise that game? Oh, it's doing that thing again. Is this like a speed-sensitive issue, I wonder? Join me now and live, or continue this foolishness, and I shall squash you myself. Well, he tried and failed. Now what? Didn't think that through very much, did you, Proton? Do I want to go up there? I don't really know. Did I need more keys, or was it just this one? Because if this is the only one I need, then I can totally just leave the level and not come back to it. Well, let's go up here and find out what's going on. Well, we got all letters, we didn't get them in the order, but we got all of them, so that's nice. There is health here, so that's a plus as well. Ow! Yeah. It really isn't much, it's not very wide in here, is it? I thought this area was bigger. It gives the impression it's bigger than it is. It's such a grumpy sound. It's weird how turbo buttons don't work in this game. Like, you press the turbo button, but it's actually really slow. The only, like, ooh, that's good, I can think of is, it's from, like, Sat AM, I think, like that Sonic series. I don't mind that Sonic series, but I honestly prefer the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it's way more goofy. More cartoony. Ah, well, we're about to kill Proton. I guess we're going to finish the game then. Proton's going to fucking die. Like, all fast games, and like fast adventures of anything ever, it ends at night. Because the first fucking adventure in any fucking series, now enough, almost always ends on night time for some reason. I don't really know why that is. It's just a coincidence, I guess. Fine. Like, nothing wrong with them. Oh, that's an obnoxious racket. It's pretty good though. It's sort of like an impromptu frame rate counter, the noise. Yeah, many years ago, I never did find out what that was about, so yeah, as long as they don't do it again. Yeah, for a while. As I say, they fucking discharged me without ever figuring out what it was, so... I wish the game would manufacture a situation where you drop on one of those, like, robot things earlier, like... Because if you hit them from the top, you don't take damage from them. And I honestly had forgotten all about that. Now, where do I want to be? Okay. Yeah, it wasn't much fun. That was probably more annoyed than anything because I was just getting jerked around by the hospital. It's always the fucking case with the health service here. You can't really expect anything out of them. If you really want me to, then hi Sarah. Feel free to clip it, use it out of context, whatever you want to fucking do with it. That's now public domain or something. I don't know. I vaguely remember there being an Addams Family cartoon, but I don't think I ever actually watched it, so I don't know anything about it. Like, where the fuck do I get these keys from? Well, I get rid of the force field, so that's a start. There we go. Progress has been made. It's so strange. Okay. Those are these fucking midget helicopters, man. They're still weird when you think about the helicopters. They're exceedingly dinky. I mean, they probably have no pilot, given it's Proton. Like, why would Proton employ anyone to fly the fucking things? There definitely was some Addams Family, like, cartoon at some time, but I don't recall ever watching it. I only recall, like, knowing it was on. And that key goes back in that door, like, in that other area. These rockets fall, the hulls, like, go back to where we just were when we used the time machine. Figures there'd be more of these fucking helicopters up here. Fuck you, motherfucking helicopters. Fuck you, fuck. I guess there's no else hiding up here. Well, if there is, then always come back, I suppose. Let's have a quick look for some health. Oh, there we go, that's convenient. Game's starting to tank a little bit here. Yeah, well. I do tend to have that effect on females. They tend to freak out when I'm around. Sticky frame rates. I'll just take the atomic health. Yeah, mostly enjoying the game. Frame rate goes to hell a little bit, but that's part of the experience. So yeah, helicopters ain't something I tend to dream about, but I will always remember that one I had where they tried to land it under a fucking overpass on a highway. They fucking, like, they screwed it up and they ended up, like, decapitating people with the blades and shit. That dream was fucking awesome. Oh, the door's over there. SE40. I don't remember what 40 does. I kind of feel like it's that unused room over room thing, but I don't recall. They're one of those things where I can't usually start remembering what they do until I'm sat in front of build. I think these all go the same place, these like floors when they break. Let's just break through this one. Oh, does this one not break? There's actually a key door there. What's the point in having another key door there? I wonder if they just changed the level design and they just left it there. Yeah, it's... Unfortunately, I don't think there's really much of any practical way to implement things like that in a level. It's... I always try to avoid using, like, room over room, especially E-Duke's weird implementation of it. It's just fucking rough to put in, and it causes too many problems, so I always prefer to just do it my own fucking awkward way, and like, well, at least now it has an excuse for putting limits on what I can do, and I can at least be like, yeah, well, I mean, that's technical shit. Oh, Duke, don't do that. I don't get why I won't grab. I don't know, there is one guy in the community who has like this mad craze on it. Like he would not shut up about the damn feature. I wonder if my gamepad's been weird again. Maybe that's why it's not grabbing. In this game it doesn't matter so much though, because in this game we can turn it off. But if we're going there, you press that. But and then all we have to do is go back, go in there. Yeah, I think I need to go in and fix this. I feel like it's it's like his farts coming out the bottom of his jeans. It's probably just like a capacitor fucking... But yeah, when people use it, they use it too much. Their maps then perform like shit, because every time you put one, it's going to half the frame rate. And it's just a shit implementation that they went with. I really don't know why they did it. Especially the sectors like going on top of each other on the grid, because it makes editing things almost impossible. The auto fucking grey out never works because it's done by Z, and that doesn't fucking make sense. But then how else would you define it? Like, as awkward as it is, I do think they should have gone with something like akin to Shadow Warriors implementation. I just don't bother with it. It's shit, and they'll probably break the effect anyway. They probably have by now. And plus, it never worked right to begin with, so I prefer to just be like, well, we'll just exploit the ever-living fucking hell out of the game's drawing order, and we'll leave it at that. Because in theory, that shouldn't ever change. At least the skies you'd think wouldn't. I mean, I can't imagine they'd ever draw skies after drawing level geometry, like... That just wouldn't make sense, like, even for E-Duke 32. Why would you do that? Iron Fiery, I'm pretty certain, does. I don't care about that. Like, it has the most important thing in it. Like, because I went and added fucking toilets and bleach drinking, and so, you know, the game's like immediately 10 times better than it was at launch. And I still don't know of any other Kurd mods being made for it. If there are more of them, nobody's posted them on the boards. So, yeah. It's classy when your game's only mod is like, well, what does your community make? Well, nothing, but we do have this one mod where you can use the lavatory now. And there's a randomizer running in it, so occasionally the water turns red instead of yellow, or like a shit appears in the fucking, like, bowl. But oh, anything else? Well, you can drink bleach and, like, Windex. I mean, there is that. That makes the game better, right? Proton is dead. Well, he's not actually, he's just annoyed with us. Definitely a tobacco lump in my mouth somewhere. See, I don't think the game's bad, but it doesn't really fucking... Like, my memories of it are extremely vague, and I don't even think I completed it. I remember being on some train level, and that's about all I remember. And I was like, well, I think I've played most of the game now, so I might as well, like, mod it now, because I didn't want to just start digging in the files, so I didn't want to spoil it for myself. And I'm like, well, I think I've played enough of it now, and plus the fact I wanted to test on a few levels. Like, there was one level where I was kind of stuck because the bog was really close to a wall, which my Kurd doesn't like, and so I was like, whoa, how do I deal with this one, you know? And it was, do I write an exception for this particular level? I can check what level it is and just make these ones not work based on, like, their sprite ID or something. I found a workaround was really easy, and it was just play with the clip dist. But what's weird is the player sprite's clip dist, when I set it back, you don't set it to what it was before. You actually have to set it to double, or else it's too small. So the game's a bit weird. The game's anti-modding, which pissed me off. And it's things like that irk me, where they basically bullshitted us, the devs, in a lot of ways. Like, oh, we promise we won't cave to the inevitable social justice warrior shit. And the first thing they do is cave. And it's, oh yeah, we'll be friendly to modders. It's running an eDuke 32, but somebody took the time to remove the fucking directory select box out of the fucking launch screen. The game tends to throw bullshit error messages when you try to modify it. Oh, it's a palette error. It's like, no, what you mean is the checksum of something you don't think is right, even when it is. So, I mean, it makes distributing mods and launching them very difficult. Like, you had to put a batch file in with... The fuck, who uses that? I don't even know if they'll work in, like, modern fucking operating systems, necessarily. It's not fucking good. It's like, you know, it's quite annoying. Yeah, the cable's in. I suppose we'll try and get that little demo to run before I call it quits, because I said I would. But yeah, it's not a memorable game. I'm fairly... Yeah, it does to me as well. It is not mod-friendly whatsoever. Like, you removed features that were already there, like, you know, in the application. Somebody had to do that by choice. And the only reason I bothered modding it is because I promised I would, and I don't break promises if I can help it. I'm like, look, I said I would do this, so I kind of have to do it now. It'll take me like an hour at most, and it didn't take me long. I did fix the code a bit to remove a soft lock. If they ever get multiplayer working, I'll have to fix it again, because there's still a soft lock will happen if it's in multiplayer mode. I could just detect it and disable it, like, you know, if people were silly enough to start multiplayer mode with that enabled, but I know how to fix it. I don't know, because modding keeps the game alive, but then maybe that's the problem. Maybe they don't want people doing that. You know, because maybe you'll keep playing the old game and not buy the new one. I can't really say. I mean, I'm not a game developer, so... And, you know, apparently I live in the past or some shit. So it's just me, or has the line moved, like the jitter? It's probably just with it warming up. Do boot time. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. There we go. Oops. I don't think this is VGA. We'll soon know if it is. Let's have sound on. Wow, we got a black screen. But that might be because the system thinks it's a CGA card. No, then we get the scroller. But the background graphic isn't loading. So I guess it just has compatibility problems out the ass, but then the card doesn't work properly, I guess. There's sound loop. It's bad. Well, I guess we'll see if the second scroller happens, but it's like there's always one asset that just won't work in this thing. What we'll try and do is, like, we'll come out of it, make the machine load Captain Comic. Oh dear. Have we put the card in no man's land? We have. That happens sometimes. The card doesn't work properly, so I feel like it's tried to put it in fucking MDA mode or something. It seems to happen. Yeah, I mean, at the very least, you know, I guess you could just include the tools you use to make things. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll start Captain Comic and quit out of it, and usually, not always, but it just perks a couple of registers somewhere that reminds the system, like, hey, you do actually have EGA in here. You know what, it just gives us a completely invalid video mode now. I mean, it's all I used to do, you know, was... I don't know where this music came from. Because I know I've heard it before. But yeah, it's what they used to just put the tools that they used to make the fucking levels and shit on the CD, you know. I'll come back and do another Duke map someday, but it'll be nowhere on the scale that I used to do things like. Yeah, I wonder why the background graphic doesn't... Well, the card doesn't work right. I'm sure that's the problem. Yeah, I'm sure this text had colour as well, so I don't know. Yeah, it's proper grotty sounded. There's meant to be a background graphic of a couple of pigs there, a spaceship. If I do it on the VGA card, I get that, but not the scroller. So, no, it's probably just not that well coded. There is a second scroller, which I'm not sure is meant to be up yet. I know it mentions it in the first scroller, so I'm just going to fucking hurt your eyes. And that's all it is. There's nothing else to this demo, but I mean, it's from like 1988. So what we'll do is we'll try and get fucking Rex running on here. Oh no, I can't run Rex because I don't have a VGA card. Yeah, if I had the VGA card, then I could run Rex, which again is not very impressive. Rex sort of is just vector letters that tries to look 3D. I think it was written in like 87, so like VGA was brand new, and that demo runs in VGA mode. So it is kind of impressive in that fucking regard, just because I don't think anyone's really done VGA yet, so just having VGA in 87 is kind of weird. Yeah, I mean, we don't even know if the people who wrote these things had, like, documentation for this shit, like, you know, for all we know, they figured out how to do it just by fucking hard fucking reverse engineering. It's entirely possible. But yeah, so it's definitely off here, isn't it? I think this is where it tries to load the second scroller, so we'll see if we at least get this. I've never actually sat through this whole demo, I don't think, just because it doesn't do that much. Like, it really isn't very eventful. Obviously the sound plays through the PC speaker. It's certainly a very early example of a demo on a PC. I don't know that they were jabbing at the Amiga. I could try a jumper in the bastardizer a bit different, but I don't think it's going to help matters. Things might go a bit screwy here. Yeah, you can jumper this thing when it's on. It's perfectly fine to do this. Yeah, that doesn't really fix anything, does it? It's made it worse. No, I gotta do that one last, or else we'll be messing about with things I don't think it'll break anything, but... Right, so that's clearly not the problem. I was wondering if it was only, like, using one fucking intensity or something, but... Doesn't seem to be the case. Yeah, it just doesn't fucking, doesn't play ball. Well, when I get another EGA card, we'll try running it on that. Oh dear. Yeah, card doesn't like it. Doesn't fucking like it. I'll have another smoke and then I'll bail. Are you going to tell me the floppy controller's broke? Yeah, we'll have to get another EGA card someday and give that a go. It might. Like I say, we know this card's dodgy, so it's probably just not fucking working right. There's probably some really obscure series of things I could make the machine load that would flip the right registers to make the system actually do what it's supposed to do. The demo itself probably uses some obscure fucking halfway mode somewhere. Supposedly this card actually supports one VGA mode, but I don't know of anything that uses it. Maybe AutoCAD could use it. Find the drivers for it. Oh yeah, fucking hell, it's fast. Zero parallel? I have parallel. I've used the parallel port. What planet are you living on? Well, it doesn't matter. EGA. I don't know how much. It has 64K of memory on it, for as far as I know. Yeah, it's using an AST BIOS. Definitely isn't working the way it's supposed to, is it? But we successfully bastardized EGA for like the last fucking 2 hours. Like, I think this little thing fucking works. Like, yeah, that's definitely a problem with the card. See if this will start. I'm curious. This doesn't always work. I'm not going to play it, but. Yeah. Thing is, I don't know if the BIOS really is much of anything. Like, EGA cards you can use with other cards. Like, you can totally use one at the same time as like a CGA card or an MDA card. Like, it has options for that. Like, you can flip the switches, which is kind of neat. Yeah, this doesn't always start, so I don't know why it works now. It's totally random whether things will actually start up. We've been really lucky, because usually I have to just sit here resetting the machine and doing things in very specific orders. I'm going as soon as I finish this cigarette, so I'm not going to sit here and play through this. I just wondered if it would even fucking run. Blue is definitely a bit weak. And the thing I was on about with the colours before is, if you notice, sometimes green, the brightness is reversed. Like, where certain shades that are meant to be darker actually come out lighter. But that doesn't happen with the CGA card in, so again, I can't find any fault in my circuitry, and I'm not sure that there is a fault in my circuitry so much as just the EGA card isn't signalling properly for that particular colour for whatever reason. Well, the game actually performs like smoother in general, like on EGA it seems. Yeah, I had fun. It wasn't the best stream ever, and we didn't play anything. We haven't. I mean, I played like those 2 games not long ago, but I didn't want to start anything new in case it failed, and then just like leave everybody hanging for like 2 years while I save up to replace the fucking workstation. So, whereas now we know it probably does work still, at least for now. You know, we can go and do some other shit. Like, I definitely need to get Mario 3 done, because I said I was going to get that done. There's some dirt. We'll do that fucking Angel of Darkness shit. See how fucking annoyed I end up getting at it, because I'm not sure why I've decided to do this. I have this habit of talking myself into playing shit I don't fucking like. And that's not even a short game, so I mean, that was a silly idea. I really don't know why I've decided to do that. But, oh, that's no good, is it? The fade's weird, but the fade's definitely smoother on EGA, isn't it? Like, it actually looks like a fade instead of just like all of the palette colours moving towards black, like through each increment. I don't know if I'll play it on the Presler. I might try and play it on the K7. But yeah, I could probably get the Presler over. I don't know though. It's really hard to move, so I'd rather not do it if I could get away with it. This is great. This is demos if it starts. It gets stuck though sometimes. As you can see, I fixed the colour problems though. But the game's not like missing green anymore. Can't remember what I had to fix. I'm sure it was something with it. Didn't I just have diodes backwards or something? The scrolling shows the diode slowness. You can see how you get that outline around the edge of the letters. Oh no, I said I'd fix the colours, of course now they're going to be fucking broken. Son of a bitch. Maybe that was the problem. I think I'd left the jumper on the wrong. So it doesn't stall when it's on an EGA card. So I don't want to get I don't want to get an XT just to test. So yeah, if anyone out there owns an XT with an EGA card, like, I'd be curious to know how this would, even on a Turbo XT, because this thing should be CPU-wise quite a bit quicker than a Turbo XT. The 286 flattens the 8088, like, in performance. It is fucking monstrous by comparison. It really is. So the colour sort of jitter a bit though. But yeah, this runs smoother on a real EGA card apparently, so I had always wondered about that. Because, I mean, it's not like it's emulation per se, but VGA cards are just... I always wondered if maybe they were slower at EGA modes. Apparently they are. Yeah. The fade thing in Keen 1 is especially interesting to me. I'm not sure how that works, and it doesn't do that on VGA cards. It's so... The increment is so much sharper on a VGA card, where you can see it going like, you know, it's just red, dark red, black, you know. Whereas it really looks smoother on an EGA card, that fade. It's maybe just some programming trick, like, to just dim out the colour intensity. Like, it looks like the fade in this, like, where you can see it sort of stepping through, like, when it's on a VGA card. It's a weird fucking technology, EGA. Like, the signalling on it's strange. It took me quite a while to figure out, like, how to get it to work. A bit of slow down, but it's still not terrible. And it just kind of smoothly slows down. It doesn't really stumble like it was on the video. And keep in mind, we were stuck at like higher clocks, I think, when we did that. So it's very interesting. I'm glad I got this to work, because like I say, I'd always wondered, it was always there, like, would this sort of shit performance be there? Like, the system requirements really that wrong, or is it something to do with VGA cards? And even then, I think later VGA cards could probably EGA faster than my Everex, because it's a very early VGA cards, you know, it probably hasn't quite got the hang of those things yet. But yeah, that's it. Now we know we can stream and shit, so I guess I'll stream again one day. I don't know when. Thanks for fucking tuning in and shit as always. I totally wouldn't blame anyone for fucking skipping on this one. I mean, I wouldn't blame them for skipping on any of them, but this one especially, because we were just fucking about to see if shit worked. It does. I better unplug the bastardizer before it fucking melts or something. It is a messy fucking thing. Guess we'll show it on the camera before I hit the stop button. Might as well. But yeah, it's always around the China adapter. Because it's just convenient that way. Where it leaches power from the China adapter, and it also fucking plugs in the signal cable. So either you plug in there and you just get the output straight from the bastardizer, or you plug in there and you get the output from the China riser. Ugly fucking board though. Not fucking pretty. Do not recommend. But hey, it does its job. It's made out of fucking diodes and resistors and transistors and shitty little fucking chip up there for reasons. I'm sure other people have done it before somewhere, that they must have done. It just seems too obvious that somebody would have had to try it. But it's like everything where, you know, you need a microcontroller to make one LED blink, you know, just shitty, sloppy, present-day electronics. It don't matter. Whatever works, works. And if that works for somebody else, I don't blame them for doing it that way, I guess. But it probably cost them more money than my burnt-out stereos did, so I got them off the card. Anyways, I'm out of here. That went the wrong way. I've got to go to sleep, so I'll